What's up guys, welcome to my 2022 What's in the Bag video. My name is Marcus Graham. A little bit about myself. I've been playing disc golf for about a year now, going on my second year, which brings me to my 2022 goal, which is to play some PDGA sanctioned events. As you can tell, I'm part of the Rogue Disc Ninja program, and I absolutely love being a Rogue Ninja. I love being a part of this program because I've met so many great people within this community, and I've been able to learn more about disc golf as a whole by writing blog posts and making videos like this. Let's get into the What's in the Bag video. Starting off our first disc, I got the Prodigy PA3. And a common theme throughout this whole bag, I only throw pink Prodigy discs because I like Prodigy and I like their easy to understand flight system. For example, you got a P for putter, M for mid-range, F for fairway, D for distance driver, so on and so forth. And the numbers are easy to understand, with 1 being most overstable and 6 being most understable, 3 being right down the middle. So back to the PA3, this is my go-to putter. I absolutely love this putter. And if you guys want to know a little bit more about why I chose this putter as my go-to putter, check out the description down below where I wrote a whole article on roguedisc.com about why this is the perfect-ish putter. But to sum it up simplistically, this disc feels amazing in hand. It's super reliable, super straight. I chosen 300 soft plastic versus all the other plastics just because I like the way that the 300 soft feels for a putter. Super grippy. Again, super straight, super reliable. This is my go-to putter for 80% of the shots. But when I'm not throwing this disc, I'm throwing one of these two other discs, like the PA1. The PA1's just like the PA3, but this one's more overstable, so if there's a little bit of headwind coming at me, I'll be more likely to reach out for this disc. I also use this disc when I'm throwing off the tee pad just because it has a little bit more of a finish to it. And it's a little bit easier to manipulate than the PA3 because the PA3 is just super straight and finishes straight. This one has, again, a little bit more of an overstable finish to it. But more often than the PA1, I'll reach for my brand new PX3 that's not so brand new anymore. Picked this one up on Black Friday when it first came out, and as you can tell, it's a little bit beaten up around the rim and the edges, but still love this disc. I have 4 backups in case I lose this one or this one becomes too beat up. It's a little bit warped as well, but that's why we got roguedisc.com. If you need this disc or any other disc that I'm talking about, I picked them all up at Rogue Disc. By far the fastest and easy shipping in the game. Their website is also the best disc golf website I've ever seen, with amazing search tools, and they also have a flight chart for every single disc, as well as you can pick out your individual disc because they take pictures of all of them. If you're looking for specific color, specific weight, they got it all there. Make sure you check out roguedisc.com. I can't suggest them enough. So moving on from the putters, we're gonna move on to the approach discs. I absolutely love the Prodigy approach disc line, starting off with the A2. This disc is amazing for when I'm a little bit outside of putting range and I just need something with a little bit more glide. This A2 is super overstable, so I can send it on a nice forehand, or if I need a sharp, kind of small spike hyzer, I can do a backhand with this. I reach for this disc a lot, especially here in the New England wooded courses, because everything's a little shorter than you would typically use for a mid-range or a fairway. So these approach discs are amazing for that. And they're about the same size as a putter. They look almost identical, same size again, but more shallower than a traditional putter, with some of them having beads. This one, the A2, is beadless, which is nice for forehands for me at least. But I love how Prodigy has approach discs, which are separate from putter discs, and I cannot suggest these enough. Which leads me to the next disc in the bag, this brand new A3. I'm still testing this disc out, but I hear that Kevin Jones really loves his A3s. These discs are super straight, so it's good if I need more glide, a little bit more distance out of a putter. I can use this disc to get that. And I feel way more comfortable forehanding the A2 or the A3 just because of the rim. And even though this one's beaded, it just feels a little bit better in my hand than the putters. So that's why I bagged 2 approach discs. Now we're gonna move on to the mid-ranges. Starting off the first mid-range, I got the MX3. This is super straight mid-range for me, and the MX is a little bit different than the M3 just because I can put a little bit more torque in this, and I have kind of a higher arm speed, especially for a beginner, so using this is easy to get the nice straight shots. Being primarily a backhand player versus a forehand player, I like using this disc just to kind of rip it straight through a nice tunnel shot there. But more often than not, instead of using the MX3, I reach for my M4, which is a slightly more understable version, so I can put it on a nice little hyzer flip, especially again being a backhand dominant player. This disc is amazing for hyzer shots and turnover shots at slower speeds. I just really like these two mid-range discs, even though I don't really use them all that often because I primarily reach for one of the putters or the approach discs before I would reach for a mid-range. And that just kind of comes down to a comfort thing. Moving on to the fairway drivers, I have this F2, which I lost, but recently got back at a tournament a couple weeks ago. But this is an F2. One of the first Prodigy discs I pick up is the Prodigy F2. I like this shot for super straight shots with a reliable finish at the end. But I'll typically reach for this disc before I reach for the F2, which is the F5. It is an understable disc that I can hyzer flip or get a nice S-line out of it. And this one's just a little bit easier to turn over as well, just because it's, again, a little bit more understable than the F2. But those two are my favorite fairway drivers. I use them about 90% of the time. But if I need something that I can manipulate a little bit more, this is an F7. Although it's a misprint, it is an F7. This one's super easy to hyzer flip and super easy to turn over. And I actually use this disc more specifically to do roller shots. But when I'm not using this disc and I need a little bit more stability, I have this beautiful H3 V2. I feel super comfortable using these hybrid discs for forehand shots, a little bit more so than the normal fairway drivers, just because it's a little bit more flat and it just feels better in my hands. I use this disc a lot because I get a lot of distance out of it for both backhands and forehands, but when I'm not using this disc for distance, I use my distance drivers. Starting off my distance drivers, I got this brand new D2 Pro. I love this disc because I can send this the furthest out of any of my other discs. The D2 Pro is just like the D2, but it's got slightly more overstable finish to it than the normal D2. And I haven't used the D2 Max, but I've heard this one's still more overstable than that one apparently. Though again, if you absolutely rip this disc will glide super far. This disc is one of the only ones I've gotten to hit 400 feet with, which is a lot for me because I typically shoot around 300 if I'm lucky. I can't suggest this one enough. If you're looking for a great distance driver, this one is definitely for you, the D2 Pro. But a little bit easier to throw, I have this D4, just the understable version of it. So for this disc, it's great for hyzer flips or for backhand roller shots or turnover shots. I typically reach for this disc for tailwinds versus the D2, which I will use for headwinds, because if I throw it in the headwind, it's gonna be more stable, and this one, vice versa, tailwinds, this one's just gonna glide forever. The D4 is an amazing understable distance driver. I cannot suggest this one enough. But last but not least, my favorite disc I saved for last, I got the Prodigy X3. This disc is amazing for both fairway and distance shots. I actually used this disc for a filmed version of Pros vs. Joes by the Greatest Media Team, which I'll throw up right here. And I can absolutely rip this disc. I'm by no means a pro or anything, so 300 feet, 350 feet's a lot for me, but I can hit 400 feet with this one on a good day. And if you're looking for a disc that absolutely rips and glides far, the X3 is the best disc I can suggest for that. I absolutely love it. I actually just ordered another one from Rogue Discs, so that one should be coming in the mail soon. And again, if you're looking for any of the discs I mentioned in this video, or if you're looking for any disc or disc accessories, check out roguedisc.com. They have the fastest and best shipping in the game. Shout out to M. Bennett on Instagram. He absolutely hooks it up, ships everything out the same day or the next day. Thanks guys for watching. My name is Marcus Graham. Check me out on Instagram at I'm Marcus Graham, and make sure you check out roguedisc.com for the best shipping and the best discs in the game.